In my last video, I spoke about why it's so hard to stick with the gym and how a big part of that is identity. Most people don't really identify with it, it's just a place they go. And that leaves you in a tricky position. Because if you look at the fitness industry, it tends to offer two solutions. You either go all in, follow a specific method, a sport, a system, and let it become a big part of your life. Or you're told to just be more disciplined, be more consistent, try harder. And for most people, none of those really work. Because if you don't love training and you don't want it to take over your life, then of course discipline is going to feel difficult. You're constantly trying to push yourself towards something that doesn't naturally pull you in. So instead of trying to force motivation, it's often more useful to make training as easy as possible. And to do that, you want to remove all friction. And one of the simplest ways to do that is to take the gym out of the equation completely. Train at home. Because the moment you do that, you remove a lot of the small barriers that get in the way. You don't have to travel, you don't have to wait for equipment, you don't have to deal with a busy gym environment, and that alone can make it much easier to get started. And when you train at home, you naturally simplify things. You're not surrounded by loads of machines and options. So instead of trying to use everything, you just pick one or two tools. They could be dumbbells, kettlebells, or even just body weight exercises. And that's enough. The same applies to exercises. You don't need loads of variety. In fact, constantly changing things often makes it harder to stay consistent. A small handful of exercises that you repeat each week is usually far more effective. It removes the thinking and makes the whole thing feel more manageable. And then instead of chasing the perfect program, you just follow something simple and repeatable. Not because it's exciting, but because it's easy to stick to. None of this is particularly glamorous, but that's kind of the point. If you don't identify with training, it needs to fit into your life without feeling like a big effort. You don't need to become obsessed. And you probably don't need more discipline either. You just need to remove enough friction so that training becomes something you actually do instead of something you keep putting off.